welcome to No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Atmansky, and I'm here today with...
Justin DeClue, and I love eating ash. Ash. I'm eating ash.
TMI.
Like a Zoomer. They love eating ash.
A little too much. I don't know why you told us that, but thank you. I'm Colin Cunningham. I'm also
Isn't it
here.
confusing that Zoomers are old people and young people?
Wait.
Well,
Are
are Zoomers
Yeah,
considered old people?
Well, boomers
Yeah,
are
there's
old
like
people.
Zoomer magazine is for like seniors.
I thought that was
Oh.
Boomer magazine.
There is no such thing.
not a
called
boomer magazine.
Boomer magazine.
Wait.
Boomer magazines are just regular magazines.
Zoomer is Canada's lifestyle magazine for men and women age 45 plus. Oh yeah, you mean
What?
the magazine where it's like time honors Pedro Pascal? I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll be picking this up.
So there's Zillennials. What is that? Those are people younger than millennials. Gen
Yes.
Z.
I think they're called Zoomers.
Those are some people call them Zoomers. Yeah.
Yeah, Zoomers is a nickname for Generation Z, the demographic cohort succeeding millennials. This is kind of like a Rough Rider situation where the CFL had only 6 football teams and 2 of them were called the Rough Riders.
Yeah, I was just telling my friend that. I'm like, they're spelled different. One has like a space in between rough and riders.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that like one of them, the dog is the mascot, and it's called RUFF Riders.
Guys, we haven't even mentioned the movie we're talking about.
I know, I'm trying to pad this out
Are you-
because
are you ready
not
to
much
eat-
happens in this movie.
Are you ready to
Well,
eat
you
some
know.
ash? We're talking Rain of Fire.
Wait, did you just taste it? You're like, oh,
I
no,
just-
Ash.
I bumped the
that's
mic.
not ash. That's the other word it sounds like.
April eats ash every time I cook dinner. Womp womp.
That's not true. You're a wonderful cook.
Time to fire up the barbecue.
No, okay. According to Letterboxd, it says the
Time
tagline
to
is
drop those pants and eat ash.
the tagline is they're extremely intelligent, highly evolved, and they don't like sharing the planet.
and they love eating ash.
Well, that's a thing in the movie.
Yeah, they
Christian
eat
Bale
ash. They
writes
say-
down they eat ash. So anyway, we've teased this movie many times.
But you picked this one,
Basically,
April.
because I want to get it all out front, just because I love saying eating ash.
Yes, but I actually have wanted to do this for a while because it's a B movie that nobody ever talks about ever, except for the occasional bad movie podcast, which I had heard an episode on this. I think it was We Hate Movies years and years and years ago. Other than that, this is forgotten to time. And
Yeah.
this
I
book-
saw it in theaters.
Sorry,
and
this
I vividly remember seeing it in theaters too.
This movie is quite funny, and it's not amazing, but it is really dumb.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I think
You know
you
what I
liked it
mean?
maybe a little more than I did.
I do. I think it's a touch long.
Yeah.
It could use some.
Isn't it
some
90 minutes?
no, it's
No,
like
it's
almost 2 hours.
It's an hour 40 something.
Hour 47.
Hour 42.
Yeah. So it could be shorter.
Could
Yep,
be
it
shorter.
could. It could
Especially-
be an hour.
Soderbergh directed this. 90 minutes.
Oh,
89 minutes.
So this is
In and
from 2002, a lovely year. I feel like we've done a lot of movies on the podcast.
Oh, lovely
from
year.
2002.
we're not going into any wars or anything like that.
Yeah. No, I just mean from movies. A lot of
You know.
weird movies came out.
But like, yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Wait, did Goldmember come out this year? Because I feel like that was the same summer that I saw this. I'm gonna
I
look
don't
here.
know.
Could be, but I think this was the year Master of Disguise came out.
Well, the
Yep, it is because I saw it the same probably week.
Oh, man.
Goldmember and Reign of Fire. What a double bill.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I it was very close because I was visiting my stepmother's parents. They lived on a farm in a small town, and they had a theater there. And I vividly remember seeing Goldmember, which even as a child, I was like, "This is not funny."
I saw that in the
Why?
theater too, and I remember
Yeah.
thinking like, nah, it's all just the same jokes.
Mom, I want to eat
But
some mash.
but if I say I love gold,
Actually,
I'm laughing.
we revisited Goldmember. I think it was during the pandemic, and I was laughing. I love that thing at the beginning where they'd make the fake movie.
Yeah.
I,
yeah, that's
I
the only
liked it.
funny thing.
Yeah.
In Goldmember.
It's probably the only
That's
funny
it.
thing in the movie. Yeah, Beyonce can't act.
Oh,
Sorry.
Wow, roasting Beyonce.
I'm sorry,
over
but
the
she's
gold.
not an actress.
Well,
Rest in peace, Vern Troyer.
Yeah.
He's in heaven now.
But yeah, Rain of
Tiny
Fire.
heaven.
I guess let's start.
Wait.
let's start with-
Vern Troyer does not go to a separate tiny heaven.
You said
I think
tiny
he can
heaven?
be-
Yeah.
That's what Colin said.
No, well, I mean, like, you
I
know,
thought you said tiny
he's
man.
going to be like a small angel, so he's not going to be able to get up on things or
Vern
play-
Troyer is 500 feet tall in heaven, and everyone's
Oh,
small.
he's got like a
All right.
properly sized harp.
Changing the subject. Rain of Fire. So let me just start with this. I love dragons. I've always loved dragons
Really?
ever since
Why do
I
you
was.
love dragons, April? That's a good question.
I guess it went hand in hand with the dino craze of the early 90s where when I was growing up. And I've always been fascinated by them. They're mystical creatures. So because of that, I'm never going to find them scary. I think that they're cool and awesome, even if they're destroying the world like they are in this
Question.
movie.
Do you see a dragon and it makes you cry?
I mean, not necessarily in this movie, but yeah, I get a little choked up, especially How to Train Your Dragon.
Have you seen?
Wait, there. Oh, I love How to Train Your Dragon.
I have to say, Justin, like when we finished this movie, I think we were watching it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
You know, and they do the quick recommends of like, watch next, Aragon.
I've heard terrible. Maybe we should have done that for this podcast.
Yeah, I've never seen
It's
that.
supposed to be terrible, and I think
Oh man, have you guys seen
producers
the
ruined
cover of Aragon?
Oh, it looks
Yeah.
It looks like a
dreadful.
dragon that's like embarrassed to be on the cover.
It's CG. They had to make it.
Wait,
look
you mean the
embarrassing.
movie, or because it was
No,
a
the
series
book.
of books?
yeah.
I remember seeing those books in like the library in the bookstore growing up, and I was like, nah.
The dragon. Everyone search Aragon book cover, and the dragon's like blue, and he's like, ugh.
It looks
can't
like,
believe I'm in this.
weren't they
Yeah,
like-
he
oh
looks-
yeah,
he
he looks like
depressed.
kind of ashamed.
Aragon is part of that beautiful family of movies. A visual effects supervisor makes a movie.
Yes.
Wait, have we had this argument before? It is
No.
a visual effects supervisor.
Yeah, it is. It's Stefan Fangmeyer.
Yeah, they're never, it's never good.
He was a big guy from ILM back in the day, some
Yeah.
German guy. But I remember him when I was working on The Wild with his buddy Spaz. He would call up Spaz like from the set in the
Aragon?
Yeah, like
Aragon.
very upset. They're taking my movie away.
A lot of trouble behind the scenes apparently
Oh,
for
really?
Aragon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he's ever. I don't know if
No,
he's
he never
directed again.
anything again. Who
Because
was
it was
producing it?
It's like they were like trying to make the next Harry Potter or whatever, and like
but it was
so,
some
like
very young kid that wrote those movies. Like
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
like
He was.
14 or
too,
13
yeah.
or something.
But
Everyone
anyway,
joking that he had mistyped.
Oh, right.
he
It was
mistyped
John
dragon.
Davis that produced it, who's a very difficult man to work with. He also produced I, Robot, and I remember Alex Proyas was like, the producers were trying to get us to make a movie where like the robots were driving around in cars and like fedoras to make it cheaper. He also produced Waterworld. He produced Flight Risk.
Doors. I didn't walk.
So he's still producing.
Oh yeah. I think he's been producing for a long time because I think he was originally involved in the original Predator. Yes. He's still connected to it to this day.
Why would having the robots and fedoras
I don't know.
make it cheaper?
I vividly remember an interview with Chud.com where Alex Proyas was saying something similar to that.
Oh my god! Maybe just because it would be like a person with a mask instead of
Yeah,
CG.
they're like, we just want to make it cheaper. Yeah.
so you
And they were
couldn't
like,
see
"I
into
don't
the
wanna do
back
that."
of their heads. Have them wearing.
But
fedoras.
now Alex Proyas loves AI and can't get enough of it.
No,
Yeah.
we have to do
Rest in
Gods
peace,
of
Alex
Egypt.
Proyas.
He's
I
not
love
dead.
Gods of Egypt is hilarious.
We did an episode on it. I was very pro Gods of Egypt.
Was it a Patreon?
I've never seen it.
Yeah,
No?
but you watched the
Oh,
first
I
half of
love
it.
Gods of
It's
Egypt.
possible. I think we just talked about it maybe during some other Gerard Butler Patreon. Geostorm. But I almost picked a law-abiding citizen for this episode.
I don't
so
like law-abiding citizen that much.
no, it's hilarious.
all right.
But well, anyway, I chose this one, which is another Gerard Butler movie. But
Gods of Egypt.
back to dragons.
Directed by. Oh yes. Go. Sorry.
I was just gonna say,
Rob Bowman.
I was curious about dragons in general while watching this movie, and I was like, where did that come from? So I did the smallest bit of research on Wikipedia, and they've been around since ancient times, since ancient Mesopotamia, and different cultures around the world have seemed to come up with the idea of dragons separately. And I was like, why is that? And it's thought that it's because it's a combination of three different animals, so like a mammal, a lizard, and wings. So that's why different cultures have kind of come up with this creature independently, because it's like, whoa, what if there was something that had all characteristics of all three? Because like we look at it now and you're like, well, that's just a dinosaur, but they didn't know about dinosaurs back then. So it's interesting.
As they see
That's
like
not a dinosaur. There's no feathers on it.
They see like
Exactly.
a manatee or something, and they go, "Oh, it's a mermaid."
The dictionary defines dragon as, I was thinking there was a dragon fever in the early 90s because we had Dragonheart.
Yep, I love that movie
Oh,
too.
God, yeah.
John Connery.
We had I vividly remember the Charles Band ripoff, Moonbeam Entertainment movies. What was it called? Dragon World from 1994.
There you go.
Which I believe Dragonheart.
There was Dragonheart 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I just as a child,
Dungeons
I
and
and
Dragons.
always
Dragonheart
loved
4
dragons.
and 5. There is so many Dragonhearts. And sorry, Dragonheart ripped off Dragon World, which came out in 94. Dragonheart came out in 96.
Oh, the
Dragonheart.
infamous
Someone
Dungeons
funny.
and Dragons with
Rob Cohen.
with Jeremy Irons, also in Aragon, by the way.
Aragorn.
Aragorn.
Aragon. We don't want to get sued.
April said the same thing.
Aragon. But yeah, so there was, I guess, a dragon fad as well, and I think that people always like dragons, and I mean, much later there would be the movie How to Train Your Dragon, which is quite similar to this one in a lot of ways, including Gerard Butler is in both. Which is funny to me.
Yeah, there was one in Harry Potter too, wasn't there?
So there was one in the first Harry Potter. It was like a baby dragon, but the fourth movie had a bunch of dragons.
Yeah, he was fighting in like that.
Yeah, and so that was after this movie, but I think no, definitely.
And we all love Smog, right?
Yeah, I can't get enough of Smaug.
I will say I like the design. The design of the dragons in this movie is good. I don't like those Harry Potter dragons, and there's been some dragons where I'm just like, it looks silly or weird. Shrek, for instance. I mean, this Shrek one's fine, but I like the way that these ones look.
No, the Shrek one looks hideous. Awful.
Everything in Shrek
but I
looks
do
hideous.
want to have sex with it because I'm also a donkey.
Yeah, I like that how these dragons are kind of they're thin and muscular. They're not like big and fat. And their wings.
Oh,
kind of
I like the
hold in
chunky
them.
boy from the recent Dungeons and Dragons film, though.
I can't even remember that.
Oh, yeah,
I
and
watched
can
that
I.
movie. I can't remember nothing about that movie.
What about Playmobil?
really?
Wasn't there
Rules.
a dragon in that?
Was there?
Yeah,
I
it
don't
turned
remember
into
seeing
like
that.
Oh, it was a T-Rex maybe.
I
yeah.
couldn't see it through my tears.
It turned into like a sparkly boy at the end. With
Yeah,
the
that's
eye.
right.
Oh yeah, they turned it gay.
It ate the gay hay.
And then he
Yeah.
flew. He
The
flew like a
gay
dragon.
hay.
Well, this movie is directed by Rob Bowman, who directed a shit ton of TV stuff. First of all,
Mostly
Yes.
TV.
X-Files.
And a cursed filmography.
Yeah, I mean, he did direct the first X-Files movie, which I remember being pretty good.
Yeah,
it's okay.
It's fine.
I never watched the show, so I didn't know what the hell.
I
was
got
going
on a weird Rob Bowman kick, and I don't remember why. Because I
It's been,
followed
like the
him.
shortest kick ever.
Yeah, Reign of Fire, Elektra, where he does commentary on the director's cut because we all asked for it of Elektra, and he's like saying like the editor saved me. I really screwed this movie up, but the editor made it good. And it's like, I'm sorry, Rob. I watched the movie. It's bad. It's not good.
He said that about this movie?
No,
No,
Electra.
Now that's a movie we could do for this. He also directed Airborne, a film about rollerblading I've never seen.
I believe I've seen that. I'm
Really?
gonna have to check the
Starring Shane McDermott. Who's Shane McDermott? He only was in one.
check the
thing.
letterbox.
Dylan's
I feel
brother?
like I've seen Airborne.
And Seth Green.
Yeah, Seth Green. I remember. Let me see. Okay, well I never logged it, but I feel like I've seen it.
That is the most 90s movie ever.
Wow.
Airborne,
about
yeah.
rollerblading.
Oh,
I
man.
swear I think I caught it on some kind of stream during the
Oh,
pandemic.
yeah, that looks familiar. Wow, they're really flying in the air in that poster.
Oh yeah.
Do you think like it's like the curse that gravity stopped and they're like, help me?
I think they're just all
up
like,
into the sky.
they're all falling out of helicopters.
Oh, they're about to die. Then.
I get
They're being like bait for the dragons.
Wait, is it like a multiplicity style situation? If you look at the poster, there's 4 of the same guy on it.
Everybody looked like that in the 90s, though.
Because
So.
people love Shane McDermott. They're like, we need more Shane on this poster.
but
Is
yeah,
he brother of Dylan McDermott?
I know, I don't know.
that would be hilarious. But yeah, I mean, the issue with this movie is that like I don't think the story is very good. Like, and I don't really like has necessarily how it's told.
Yeah, I think it's not the story isn't
Or
an
maybe
issue.
it's the
I think it's
script.
very flat, and I found it pretty uncompelling.
Yeah, I think I like the concept. I like the world building. I like the kind of idea of it, and I do kind of like everybody's kind of giving it their all, like Christian Bale and McConaughey. But there is something about
Well,
it.
la dee da. Is that what he yells? Let's not forget. That's my favorite.
Good.
Yeah.
He is yelling so much in this movie more than I've ever heard him yell.
I think everybody
Christian
is.
Bale, everyone is. Well, Gerard Butler kind of always yells, but
Yeah.
like Christian Bale and
Catherine
Matthew
Heigl,
McConaughey.
I'll never marry you. Me, Gerard Butler.
But
Well,
like,
I'm glad they're letting old Jerry B use his proper accent, his actual accent in this.
yeah,
I'm
he's honestly the best part of this movie, and I wish he was the main character.
He's got charisma, and like I think Bale and McConaughey they're playing it a little too serious.
McConaughey is like trying to be like Mr. Macho, and it's almost
doesn't work.
laughable.
I don't know. I
Well,
think it's kind
this
of
is
funny.
a problem with the script, right? Is that like McConaughey is supposed to be like super cool guy, but he never does anything cool in the movie.
He just kind of
then-
looks cool. He has all like
and then he gets taken out like a chump.
Which is funny. I mean, he
Yeah.
has all these big ideas, and he's like a jerk, and like people follow him, but then he kind of screws up multiple times.
yeah. And he's like, okay, you were right.
But like Christian Bale is supposed to
I
be
made a
kind of
mistake.
like,
I'm dead now.
Christian Bale is supposed to be kind of like this coward. He's kind of described as that, even though he's he's a leader.
Well, he's
after the dragons take over, he is the protector of this colony.
Yeah.
But he's like big dicked by McConaughey immediately. But then in the third act, he kind of that's the story.
Yeah.
He becomes a hero.
But it's good. Okay, so we start out, and I have this whole opening scene. I was like,
It's quite funny.
where are the safety inspectors on this fucking construction site? It opens up in London, which I guess is 2002.
And they're like, hello, welcome to merry old England.
I could not
on
understand a
subtitles,
word
people.
anybody was saying in this scene.
Oh, really?
Christian Bale, little baby Bale, he comes from school. He shows up on this construction site. Everybody is wearing hard hats. This kid is like walking through this construction site.
I'm just going to go into the construction
They're
site.
just like, go on in, little man.
They don't even like accompany him or make him wear a hard hat. He is just walking by, and everybody's like, "Oh no, go over."
I can't understand.
They're all like
word.
smoking. They're like, "Do you want to smoke?" And he's like, "No, thanks. I only smoke when I'm drinking."
That's the joke.
They let him. He takes this like industrial like elevator down in his dig site. I guess his mom, Alice Creed, the Borg Queen herself.
I thought she was gonna actually be in this movie.
Yeah, no.
Disappointment.
Well, not gonna get Alice Creed, man.
Oh, man.
He's
I
too big.
recently went to the Vaughan Cinema. Have you guys ever been there?
No.
I don't think so.
Oh, it's the only place in Ontario that has a 70 millimeter IMAX theater.
Right.
That's right.
And it's so trapped in the 90s. There's glass display cases, 4 of them, filled with costumes from Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine, including, I think, the Borg Queen.
Oh,
What?
well, I don't think
Yeah.
she is in Deep Space
No, I believe she
Nine.
was introduced in First Contact.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
but
Which was a movie.
I never
Yeah.
saw the very, very last end of the last season of Deep Space Nine. But
It says
speaking
Deep
of,
Space Nine.
I
Oh,
think
they all
she-
have sex for like
No,
10
she came back
episodes.
on like Voyager.
She
or
did come back
something.
on Voyager, but it was not played by Alice Creed.
No.
But speaking of Deep Space Nine, Dr. Julian Bashir is in this movie.
very briefly.
A few scenes.
yeah.
And surprise, surprise, he gets burned.
Yeah. Thanks.
He gets burned. He eats ash.
Most people. But yeah, so they let this little kid
they're
into
digging-
construction
Well, they're
site.
digging this tunnel. I guess they're digging like a new subway or something, or underground or a tube. And like Alice Creed is like the head engineer, blah, blah, blah. Again, this kid and she's like chilling beers with like a fire extinguisher. They're drinking like Budweiser at the
Very
job.
unsafe.
This kid's still not wearing, they like, one of the diggers has come across a void or something. So
He
they like,
calls it a void.
they send Christian Bale in, again, a tiny child.
You're smiling wily and have no protection. Go down there.
They don't even give him like a flashlight or anything. Again, not a hard hat in sight. They're just like, you're small, you go in there, little.
I couldn't even believe it.
So they send him into this hole, and I guess he comes upon this dragon who like sprays dragon gel in his face and
Which
like burns his
much,
eyes.
much later we find out what that is.
Yeah, so that he's escaping with his mom. The dragon comes out and kills his mom, and then we flash forward. But we
you don't
do.
even find out how his mom died. She just has blood on her forehead.
I guess she gets like squished in the cage when the dragon is like climbing on it. Or
I guess,
something.
but it wasn't. It was confusing.
Yeah, we find out later that this is like the one male dragon.
Yeah. So I mean, I feel like Christian Bale's character Quinn. He seems to harbor some sort of guilt, even though he doesn't really
He did
know.
nothing wrong.
Yeah, no, he did nothing wrong, and also I don't think he really knows if he somehow was responsible for this, but because he's like, I saw the first,
Well,
and then there were hundreds. Everyone we killed. This exposition sequence is insane.
Here's
This
an
is
issue I
great.
have with this movie. Like, if there's a bunch of dragons, they should be cool and they should be all individual in their own way.
They're all
they're
the
not.
same.
They're all
they
the same.
They kind of say, okay, first we get this like Mad Max like road warrior
yeah.
narration, which
And
is
then
very
it started
funny.
The
the war of,
dragons came.
of 10 years.
And it's like,
Do you think the world will collapse if dragons attacked?
yeah.
Yeah, probably.
probably.
There's
is
like
a
a gust
really-
of wind we don't expect, and like
Yeah.
the whole system collapses.
There is a really, really funny Time magazine cover that they have in this movie that shows London like being swarmed and burned by like hundreds of dragons,
In,
and
like,
it
a
says at the bottom,
fire.
"The end."
Question mark.
And it was like, if London looked like that,
You would not be.
Time magazine would not exist anymore. They
Yeah.
would be printing like magazine issues.
And if it started in 2002,
What is that
where's
article
the
like?
internet?
Yeah, I know.
Questions.
It's
Time
like
magazine.
the Dragon of the Year,
Yeah.
Aragon.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a very funny, like a Mad Max type opening, and like he's
Goes
writing.
on and
He's,
on.
it's like cross dissolving between his like scribbles, and they eat ash.
Yeah. And it has a lot to kind of get through
Yeah.
because they're like, well, the world as you know it is gone. People are living underground. They're trying to survive, and I guess there's no real communication between countries because it wasn't really explained well enough, this world.
Well, it says that the dragons came like locusts and
Yeah.
like swarmed down and just.
I think the
destroyed-
problem with this movie is there shouldn't be a prologue. Like, there should.
Start- yes,
jump
you just
right
think they
away.
jump-
Yeah.
Start right with the Star Wars sequence. I
Yeah.
think I'd be okay with that.
I'd be fine with that, and just start with like him writing down whatever. It's like long ago, blah blah
Yeah.
blah.
Yeah.
There was a prophecy.
Yeah, you really don't need the intro scene, and it doesn't really, other than like a brief moment where he, I don't know, seems to harbor guilt or something. It doesn't really play into his character.
He never really talks about, like, again, he doesn't. These characters are quite surface level. Like, and there's no women in the movie except for that one woman. Like,
Yeah, but she's hot.
sure. But I do like when I say Star Wars sequence. So Gerard Butler and Christian Bale, they're best buddies, and they're kind of like running a little colony underground.
Holed up in this kind of castle.
And they have a lot of children, more children than adults. So maybe
fuck.
maybe the adults died and they're just taking them in. But so they're performing like the Luke and Darth Vader lightsaber fight as
the
like a
Empires.
play. And I like that because it puts it into a time period.
Yeah,
Even though they say it's 2020, but it's like it's kind of cute. We're like, because you're like, wow, this world is shit and everything is broken and they're wearing like robes, but it's the future.
yeah, and it's like
Not
the
a bad
kids are like,
idea.
"Did you write that?" And he's like, "Of course I did."
Yeah, and they're
Even Christian Bale's like using his real accent. So
Yeah.
we reveal him. He's like mining, and he's ripped and sweaty and stuff like that. And
Christian Bale.
yeah, he's kind of like kept this colony. I guess it's implied that all the kids, are from like dead parents.
There's
They
so
just-
many
they
kids
just sort of
and less
adopt them.
adults.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Do you think it's just Jerry B and Christian?
Jerry B's like, I gotta spread my seed.
yeah, they're all his children.
Why? Who's your father, little one? I don't know who my dad is.
Yeah, and I mean Christian Bale has like an older kid that is kind of taken in as his son.
Yeah, he like
But
adopted him.
that doesn't really. The kid doesn't do anything.
He doesn't really, but I kind of like the world building and I like the setup. So it's like, okay, I get it. This is kind of cool. Mad Max, all right, with dragons.
Mad Max with dragons. All right.
Very bleak color correct, by the way.
Yeah,
And I guess that's the
I
point.
know that's the point, but visually,
Ugh, it's
I
just not
didn't-
fun to look
didn't like
at.
that. Didn't like
Yeah,
looking
it's-
at it.
they-
It was almost like a
Why
Saving
is
Private
gray
Ryan.
so much worse than black and white?
I agree. It's worse than
Yeah.
if the movie was just in black
Like,
and
I
white.
love black and white, but you make something gray, I guess because it's a neutral color.
Yeah.
Well,
So
it's kind of like blue gray. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's almost the promise of color, but it's like,
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
But they do
'Cause
have
that's
like,
what the new Thunderbolts movie looks like, and I was like, ugh,
Yeah.
why?
it just looks drab. But I mean,
Yeah.
I get what they're going for in this because when they do go to the tomato fields, like they have fields
It's
of
red,
harvest,
yeah.
it's very like green and
It's
red.
like Schindler's List.
Oh, God.
It kind of is. Now, what was happening there? Were the younger people just trying to steal the tomatoes?
Well, I
Yeah.
guess the idea is that they were starving, so they wanted to go out early and like harvest the field. But Christian Bale was like, if they're not ripe enough, then we can't grow more of them if they're not
Yeah.
germinating. So they were
So they
like, fuck
fucked
that,
up.
we're hungry.
Yeah.
And
And
they,
then dragons come.
yeah, they kind of fuck everything up. So they go out and they're attacked by dragons, and old Christian Bale comes to save them, and Jerry B.
He shows up in like a Zelda like hot the armor that protects you from the lava on Death Mountain, which is pretty
It's
cool.
kind of like
It's
thermal
like
wear.
the submarine helmet, kind of like the robot monster helmet, kind of. But yeah, so because you kind of think like, oh, like everyone's just gonna die, and now he kind of comes in and
He
saves
kind of walks
some
in.
of them.
Yeah, but when he's
Some of them
screaming through
died
the helmet,
horribly.
he's just like,
He's screaming throughout this whole movie, and Christian Bale has a particular scream. You've heard it in Batman. It's kind of like this guttural, like, "Ooh," like that. Like he uses like his like diaphragm.
yeah. And then when McConaughey shows up, it's just like,
Then he's like, okay, well, let's. Nothing really happens until McConaughey shows up, right?
yeah.
No.
So we pretty much get this one dragon attack. I do like the kind of thing that they've got the trucks with the water pumps and stuff, and they've got the water like spraying on the tires. So when like the dragons,
Yeah.
blast
So it's like
them.
they say it's been 20 years
Mhm.
since they first attacked.
Yeah, so they're kind of just laying low. I guess like the dragons like ate everybody, and now
Just waiting for them to
they're
die
just in
off.
hibernation. They're just trying to like wait for them to go away again.
Yeah, well, it's said later in the movie, much later, but they're already starting to eat each other, the dragons,
okay,
because
okay.
there's no food left.
Right.
But we don't know like how many other human colonies are there? Are there any? I mean, we see the Americans are about to come in, but it's very isolated, so it feels kind of the world feels very small.
But they do have electricity.
Yeah.
They have electronics.
They seem to have some kind of like water, plumbing.
Yeah.
Obviously. They have electronics, but there's no internet.
No, they just like, connect
How
by
are they
radio.
supposed to very slowly look at pornography in 2002?
Yeah.
Like
Come
dial
on,
up.
come on. I only got 5 minutes.
Who's picking up the phone and watching some pornos?
Oh, it got disconnected.
But yeah, it's a very bleak world. They're underground, sleeping on cots. It's gross, and it's not fun to watch. But it's not. That's the point.
Yeah,
I
we've got
get it.
like Alex Siddig, Dr. Bashir. He's like running the radio and stuff like that. I think he must have like 2 lines. In
He
the whole
doesn't have a
movie.
lot.
He doesn't.
But yeah, so incoming,
We got McConaughey.
bunch of people, and Gerard Butler has a great line where he's like, "Who is it worse than dragons? Americans."
Americans. Yeah, McConaughey like shows up and his group show up on like tanks.
McConaughey, bald with a beard and a cigar and a giant vest and ripped arms. I have never seen him look like this.
Yeah, he's like,
Well, this was the wilderness period for Matthew McConaughey.
What's the
Where he's
world?
like, what are you giving me? Yeah, sure, whatever. I'll do it. Just please give me any role. I think he was in his romantic comedy
oh really?
run at this point. Let's see here. Yep, because 2001 is The Wedding Planner. He was also briefly in Frailty, Reign of Fire, Tiptoes. Ugh.
Oh,
How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know about you guys, but for me, I became aware of him from the rom-coms. I never saw.
I've never seen one of his rom-coms.
Obviously
No,
not.
I don't think
because
either.
You are
I have
male,
either.
but I never saw what was that Linklater movie that he was in.
Oh, Dazed and Confused?
Dazed and Confused.
Never
Yeah,
saw
I
that.
never saw that.
I
So I
mean,
know he
I-
was kind of known for like
His
that.
big breakout, I
Clearly
think.
saw the Bill Murray elephant movie that is not, I repeat, not
Operation
Operation
Dumbo
Dumbo
Drop.
Drop. It's larger than life, starring Bill Murray, an elephant, and Matthew McConaughey.
Oh god.
But yeah, so McConaughey was definitely not quite big yet. And again, I don't know if this is true, but to me, it was the rom-coms that really like skyrocketed him into stardom.
I think it was like A Time to Kill was like his big.
I don't even know
breakout.
what that is.
It was like a John Grisham, like,
Okay, but
yes,
like-
they deserve to die, and I hope they burn.
Oh, that's that movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was like the lawyer, and I think that was his big like breakout. Like, who the fuck is this?
Definitely his
dude?
big break, but like he wasn't like a superstar yet.
No,
And
no.
definitely to me it was those rom-coms.
Right.
No, it's obviously Sahara, the most expensive movie of the time.
With Steve Zahn.
And Christian Bale, he had done American Psycho at this point, so
Right.
he
had done.
was a
Had he
big
done
star.
Equilibrium at this point? Let me look.
Uh,
Same year.
No, he wasn't a
2002.
big star, but he was
No.
like
Not
he was a
without
he was a
incident.
rising star.
yeah, for sure.
So having them both in this movie, it kind of makes sense.
it would never happen again. Let's say that, but because they're too big now.
And Gerard Butler, he had done some things, but
Yeah.
he was not. No, I was gonna say he didn't really. His big movie really was 300, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
before that was Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the
And
Opera,
he had
and,
not
like,
done that.
Dracula 2000.
Dracula
Did you
2000.
hear that he told Joel Schumacher, like, I can't sing. Why are you casting me in this? And they're like, don't worry about it. And he watched the
so
movie and he's
funny.
like, God fucking damn it.
So they just hired him because he thought he was attractive then?
Yeah, and a charismatic actor.
Yeah,
that's
but
funny.
He saw
can't
Dracula
sing,
2000 and he's like, this is our guy.
I must have that guy.
He is great in Dracula 2000.
Wait, Phantom of the Opera was 2004. Reign of Fire was 2002.
He's like, that guy in
Yeah,
Reign
so-
of Fire. I want
That's what I'm
Judas.
saying. So like he's kind of
Phantom of the Opera.
he hasn't skyrocketed yet either. So you have these kind of three guys
Yeah.
who would end up being much more
This is
famous.
like, so we get McConaughey showing up, and he's like the alphaist of all alpha males. He's like riding on this, like, he's straddling this 50 caliber gun, and it's like,
And like all alpha males, he's all talk, no action.
I do love the cigar he's chomping in this movie. It's like you'd think it's just like an inch that's coming out of his mouth every time, but like when he pulls it out, it is really big. It's like 8 inches long. They just like shoves down his like
It's a
throat.
phallic symbol.
Yeah.
So Matthew McConaughey shows up and he's cool and they try to kill a dragon and they do kill him right away, right?
They do. Okay, so he shows up with Isabella, what's her name? She's a helicopter pilot, and they have these things called the Angels, what are they called? The people who jump out of helicopters and like bait the
Basically just to
dragon.
get killed by the dragons.
Yeah, and it's like he establishes they got 17-second lifespan because that's like about as long as the average person lives when they take this job.
This is some kind of kamikaze situation.
Yeah, so we find out later. This is actually a pretty good scene. It's like got a good idea, I think. So they like take the helicopter up, and then one of them jumps out as like the bait for the dragon, and then the other two like follow with like these net shooting guns.
I'm assuming metal nets.
Yeah, I think so. And they
pretty
try to like,
cool.
net up the dragon, and then it just like falls, and then they kill it. Something goes wrong, and then Christian Bale has to like step in and help out one of these things. So it's a pretty fun scene, and then McConaughey like shoots it with like this explosive or whatever the hell and kills it.
I think this is like a structural issue with the film is that when you introduce people like this, they need to be good at their job at least once before they run into something that they're not good at. Like, oh, maybe the dragon is too big and their techniques don't work. I always hate it when it's like, here are the guys that are good at their job. Oh, they just failed the first time they did it. That's an issue I have with Pacific Rim, where it's like, they're bad at this. Like, they're really, everything we've seen in the movie indicates that they suck at this.
Well, they kind of like, they killed the first one, but they lose two people.
But they lose two people. Like, it feels like barely a victory.
Yeah, but it's like they do like a good little text to switch here with like the CG dragon crashes, and then like dust goes over the frame, and then it like, fades into the practical one, which is good.
There's a few practical dragon effects in this, and also the CG dragons overall look very good. I would consider that
Pretty
my
good,
favorite
yeah.
thing. There's some shots where I was like, but overall,
they look much better when they're on the ground, I think, like crawling around.
Yeah, like at the end.
In the end, and then when there's one scene at the beginning when they attack the fields of tomatoes and stuff like
Yeah.
that. When they're crawling around, I think they look really good.
I think that the scene like is like fun, but like it kind of comes and goes so fast, and then like Captain Bringdown is like, "How dare you guys celebrate?"
Oh, they're all partying to
that's
Jimi
Matthew
Hendrix.
McConaughey. I was doing just there.
Yeah, they're all partying to Jimi Hendrix Fire, one of the many
Little
just
on the nose, don't you
horrible on
think?
the nose like needle drops in this movie.
The issue with the Matthew McConaughey character is that he should be like a daredevil wild guy,
Yeah,
not like a serious bummer.
He should be fun, someone that
Yeah.
people want to follow.
Yeah, exactly. More charismatic, I think.
Yeah.
That would have been a good, like if it was Gerard Butler.
Yeah, Gerard Butler, like from this year,
Yeah,
doing his.
I would
Dennis
follow.
Keith
I'd
character.
fucking follow him.
current Gerard
Even
Butler.
like Christian Bale should be like, oh shit, like
Yeah.
this guy knows
He's
what
got
he's
the
doing.
juice.
No, he's just a jerk, and generally, seemingly everyone hates him. Although he's convinced his men to kill themselves.
Yeah.
To comical effect later, where they like all die.
Yeah, he gives them a good speech. He's like, you people disgust me, like whatever. We brought down one
So
dragon at the
what?
cost
Yeah.
of two men. And then he just tells Christian Bale like, I follow, you lead.
Yeah, which is like, okay, guy, like, calm
and then
down.
Almost immediately comes running back. It's really funny, but he's trying to convince Christian Bale. He's basically, they kind of like lay out the whole storyline. He's like, we've been chasing these dragons and tracking them down, and it turns out they're like fish, I guess, where the females like lay the eggs, and then there's one male dragon that comes and fertilizes the eggs.
Which we are assuming is the male that woke up in the hole with baby Christian Bale.
Yeah. So it's established that it's in London. They've tracked it there, and they're basically running out of people. They just need bodies, basically, soldiers to help fight against. They're going to track this one male to London. If they kill the male, then the species will eventually die out, basically.
Also, he said earlier that in sunset, essentially, is when they're the weakest because the dragons can't see.
Yeah, and that
they can't
doesn't
focus
really
on
come up again.
Well, I guess that's when they go to London, but
it's so bleak.
It's so gray. How you can't even tell.
We need it to be gray outside, so the dragons are weaker. It's like, oh, well, we're good. It's always gray
how
now.
Convenient.
Well,
yeah.
we're kind of laughing because I said, at the end of the movie, basically, it's like color comes back. But at the beginning, when baby Christian Bale, it's still this gray, bleak London.
Yeah. So there really wasn't much
there's
difference.
no color in like the early movie either. So
Yeah,
it's like it went gray to gray.
Yeah, you don't really like kind of change. But yeah, so he's trying to get soldiers basically and convince like Christian Bale's people, like, come join me. We're gonna like storm London and kill this thing. Only like 4 of them join, I guess.
And my axe.
Yeah, but then they like don't even go with him because they don't actually join him, do they? Because Gerard Butler says he's going to, but then he's not there. So maybe he decides to hang back. I don't know.
Guess.
And his stand-in son says he's gonna go. But then he doesn't. So
yeah.
What? So yes.
Well, the most important part is that McConaughey gets his shirt off, and they get into a
bare knuckle brawl.
Yeah,
out in the dust. I'm sorry, the dust. How dare I? The ash.
Yeah.
So you want to eat ash?
McConaughey and Christian Bale are eating each other's ass.
And it's like, oh, I'm gonna make you eat some ash.
It's pretty homoerotic. Like, not since Too Fast, Too Furious has there been
what a fight.
Homoerotic fight.
I remember
in the ash.
when I first saw this movie years and years ago, my friend and I would always joke that they're talking, there's just like a lot of shots of them like all sweaty and like their noses are touching and they're talking, like yelling at one another. It doesn't really happen as much as I remembered.
It does happen, just maybe not as often.
Yeah.
They are pretty close to each other. We're showing him the dragon tooth. He's
Yeah.
like, look at this.
Look at this.
But yeah, so he goes off and he going to London and he makes it like halfway there and they get attacked by a dragon horribly.
Yeah, they kind of arrive outside of London and everything has just been burned to ash. And they see these flames in the distance and they're
What
like,
could that be?
I
I don't know.
I think it's
maybe
a
a dragon, maybe not.
I think someone's got a bonfire over there.
Yeah.
Let's go check it out. Maybe it's a barbecue.
So they're kind of trapped like by all the debris and stuff like that. And then the dragon kind of ambushes them. And I guess this is the male dragon that they're after and wipes them all out.
And McConaughey survives by hiding under a car.
He survives by jumping backwards in very slow motion, shooting at a dragon with a shotgun and a handgun. Like, that's not going to do anything. He's like, he
But
turned
it looks
into
pretty cool.
Yeah, it's better than Max Payne, I got to say, in this scene.
Mark Wahlberg's Max Payne specifically.
Yeah, exactly. Was there another one?
The
better
video
one?
game Max Payne.
Ah, amazing.
The video game.
Only one movie so far.
Yeah.
Maybe there is a TV show. I
So
don't know.
far, everyone's like, I can't wait for part 2.
I mean, come on. It's going to happen.
Did you see that
You think
picture
there's
of...
going to be more Max Payne?
Yes, because they're out of ideas.
There was a picture
they are.
of, I think it was from Novocaine, of Jack Quaid, because I follow him on Instagram. And then
Yep.
he's like pointing a gun or something near the camera, and then someone found the exact same like image almost from Max Payne. He looks exactly like Max Payne.
Was it just a coincidence?
I don't know. They're like, was this intentional? Like, he looks exactly like him.
But yeah, so then we're getting to the final climax of the movie. But before then, there's a more dragon carnage. I guess it's the male dragon. He goes back to the castle that they've been hanging out in.
Because I
Christian
think
Bale and his crew.
Isabella loses contact with McConaughey and his crew and goes back to the castle to land, which they happen to have like a helicopter pad, I guess.
In a helicopter.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. How do they fuel this thing? Do they even say?
They kept fuel for 20 years, I guess.
Yeah,
don't
but
have
fuel
fuel
doesn't
tankers.
last, though.
I didn't think
That's
so. So
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, I was
But
a
they're
little
they don't have
confused.
fuel tankers, so I don't know how they're fueling these like tanks or helicopters. It doesn't matter. Yeah, and then I guess she led the dragon back by accident.
Oh, it was her fault?
Yeah, like attacks the poor Alexander, Dr. Bashir.
He gets killed. A lot of Christian Bale's friends get killed. Poor Gerard Butler.
He gets killed.
He pulls like a, self-sacrifice type deal. I mean, I think he was
My sacrifice.
but he was like, "You're too important, Christian Bale. You got to stay back. I'll go do whatever." And then he dies like instantly.
And the kids are like,
all the kids
they're
survive,
so distraught.
seemingly.
They're like bawling their eyes out because Gerard Butler's
They all
dead.
love, and I think his name in this is Creedy.
McCready.
McCready, Gerard Butler. So yeah, we lose
Like,
him.
no, there
and
goes
then,
the charisma.
Yeah, so like there's his colony is even like dwindled even more.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason,
He can't even hold it together. He's like bawling like himself. Like
him,
all the kids
McConaughey, and woman
team up
for one last try.
Yeah. McConaughey
in
comes back to
London.
to kind of rescue him. He's like opens the door and he's like, "You were right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry." That's about the best they could do. So the three of them go to storm London, I guess, because everybody else is dead. They're going to take down this male dragon on their own.
The issue I have with this movie is, and by the way, I was paying attention. I was not on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I missed a lot
Not
of
like one of those Zoomers who love eating ass.
Yeah. I missed a lot of exposition. And it could have been because we didn't have subtitles on and I just couldn't understand what they were saying. Apparently, at some point, they say they hatch a plan to shoot in its mouth as it's about to shoot fire out.
They said something about him like bearing his chest, and I think that's like the kind of
They're
tender
assuming
spot.
that they have a fire igniting sack in their chest, and that's what creates fire.
They have two glands in their mouths.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of like epoxy. One of them on their own doesn't do anything, but when they mix, it creates fire.
That exact thing is in How to Train Your Dragon, the first one, where they say like this.
You think Gerard Butler told them? They're like,
I think so. I think so.
He's telling them. He's like, nobody's seen this movie.
They're like they ignite it, and then they have to breathe in, and then it goes off, and then that is what they used to destroy the giant evil dragon at the beginning of the first one. Spoilers.
I do like it. This scene at the end when they're getting like chased and stalked by this dragon, and kind of like crawling around. That it's always kind of drooling this like liquid from
and
its
the
mouth,
dragon looks pretty good,
which is really good.
yeah. Is this an ILM movie?
It's the Secret Lab. So that was Disney's effects company. They did.
I'm sure they're still around, right?
Nope.
No?
No, they are
Oh,
not.
weird.
I think they did a lot of work on the Dalmatians movies with all the spots and like CG dogs and stuff like that.
But yeah, so a really funny part is when McConaughey decides to hit
Leroy Jenkins!
just jump into the air and swing an axe at this dragon. I guess he was trying to be bait or whatever, and the dragon just chomps him out of the air, and the axe just goes flying.
It's
down.
amazing.
He doesn't even get one hit in.
He's like shirtless. He's like all sweaty. I like he has these like tribal tattoos. that are, like-
his tattoos are ridiculous.
You said he kind of looked like Deadpool in the Wolverine Deadpool movie. Which
He does, because he's all bald and
he has those like
ripped.
line tattoos.
Yeah.
It's so good. And Leroy Jenkins is perfect. He just like he's like, come on, baby.
And Christian Bale's like, oh. So then him and woman are just kind of able to distract it to just the right. And Christian Bale's fucking up, like the arrows fell out of his pocket, and he doesn't really know what he's doing, but he's trying, and he's our hero. Like I said, he's kind of presented as a bit of a fuck up, I guess, or just like a soft boy, even though he's just as ripped.
Even though he's like super ripped, but
Yeah.
McConaughey is like
he's not as
he's
good
got
as
the
McConaughey.
crazies.
Yeah. So anyway, then it's kind of anticlimactic, even though it's a cool scene where they shoot in its mouth and it just it doesn't explode or anything.
I was expecting more. It's like
Yeah.
you're kind of like, oh, that's it. Oh,
That's
all right.
it?
I guess it's dead.
Yeah, they're like, hey, listen, what movie have you been watching? Here you go, anticlimax.
Like I said, there's lots of fire in this movie, and there's a couple explosions. But
you know what else there's a lot of?
Dragons or ash?
Ash.
I kind of was expecting a little more. Maybe I needed a little more.
Yeah,
And
there should have
that's
been
my review of the movie.
There should have been a little more something in this end scene. I think it is very anticlimactic.
And there's a very, very short scene at the end where it's like the world is rebuilding, but all we really see is like him and Lady and his man boy,
his not son,
and it's kind of just suggested that like
what is
we're starting to rebuild.
What is that line from? Don't let the rubies get you. It's like my
son from another mother.
My son from another marriage. Yeah.
But color has returned to the world.
A little bit. There's a blue sky.
Yeah, it's like, but it's like, yeah, you can tell they've like color graded the shit out of it because it's all just bleak.
But almost like you're like, saturation after, an hour and a half or more of gray. And there's red fire throughout, but still.
But there is like,
what song plays at the end too? It's like a new metal song.
It's a new metal song.
It's new metal.
It has some fire. It's called like Men Drowning in the Lake or something. It's some band I'd never heard of, but it's
Lake of Fire.
It's a new metal band.
Scales.
So did you guys have a favorite thing?
Oh shit.
Oh, I got a couple.
I said the
I have a favorite thing.
Well, is anybody going to take McConaughey's death? Because that's pretty funny.
Eating ash.
Eating ash.
Like the fact that they eat ash.
We have to like take that screen
eat
grab.
ash.
They eat ash.
But if they eat ash, then why are they dying?
I don't know.
They must need meat as well.
They need like
there's
substance.
the first post. If you search Rain of Fire, eating ash is why do they have teeth if they eat ash?
It reminds me of The Quiet
sense.
Place, where he's got like written down like all the things.
Loud noises.
Do they have loud noises?
Is there a weakness?
Is there a weakness?
Yeah. I mean, it has to be a little simplified for the dummies like me in the audience.
It's fine. But yeah, I could take either the dragon effects. I think are a step above. I think what you would find at this time in 2002. I think they're very well done.
I would say so, yes. But yeah, also that McConaughey death scene was pretty fun.
That was pretty good.
It's kind of almost like the audience knows we don't like him and they want to give us something.
Then why do we spend so much time with him?
Well, I know.
I would. You know what I would do? I would swap him out. Have Gerard Butler, and have him trying to do an American accent.
Yeah, and just, if you want to have McConaughey,
I love
in
it
the movie,
when Jerry Butler tries to do an accent.
Because his mouth is trying to get that Scottish.
He's even trying to do an accent in 300. Like that's not quite his full Scottish accent, I don't think, the way I remember.
Yeah,
it anyway.
I think you do it that way. I'm sorry, McConaughey. I like him in this. I think, but he just needs something.
I didn't think he was terrible.
No,
I just was like, I don't know.
I thought he's good. He's just too serious. I think.
He needed to be, I don't know, a little cheesier.
Yeah,
but
I like your idea about having him being a more charismatic leader and like Christian Bale even like falling under his spell. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Christian
that's what you
Bale,
need.
yes.
You need even if he's a screw up, you need for him to be charismatic enough to get people on his side.
Like, like Bruce Campbell or something like that. All right, here you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if someone comes in and acts like they know what they're talking about, then you get it. And he kind of almost does, but he's doing it in such a mean way that you're like...
you could use all those things of him sitting on the gun like a dick.
I mean, he looks like the dinosaur hunter in the second Jurassic World. The guy who has the teeth on the necklace.
But he's wearing he looks like Bane. Like he's wearing his outfit is purely Bane.
Yeah.
Like he's got the vest and like, the big combat boots and stuff like that.
Anyway, speaking of Disney, this movie is available on Disney Plus. This is a Disney production. This was Touchstone.
And please subscribe to Disney Plus now for a mere $50 a month with ads.
But yeah, I'm assuming this is everywhere and not like a Canadian Disney Plus thing because, like I said, it's a Touchstone movie. So you can watch this movie for free if you want to. It didn't really live up to my expectations, so I'm not going to quite recommend it, but...
It's okay.
It is what it is.
It's good.
It's a dumb movie.
It's entertaining.
Sure. It is entertaining at spots.
I think it needed to be dumber.
Yes.
I think it takes itself a little too seriously for the material, but it's got a really good setup. It's got
some good dragon effects,
good actors, some good dragon effects and stuff like that. I think it just needs.
Honestly, even just seeing Gerard Butler in the movies is fun enough to keep me going.
For sure, yeah. I wish he was in it more.
Yeah, but he's in a lot of it.
I wish he was fatter in the movie.
Yeah, bigger beard.
He's got more of that. He's got more of that booze bloat.
An American accent. Yes, that booze bloat.
He's got the longer hair though that they had at this time that I like.
Yeah, this is his Dracula 2000 hair, which is great.
Well, I mean, so we have not yet done a Gerard Butler starring movie on this channel.
Have we not?
Not
Have
on
we
the
not?
main
Oh, just the
feed.
Patreon.
Oh, because we did Didn't we do Geostorm?
We did do Geostorm on the Patreon.
We did Plane as well,
and
didn't we?
and Gamer and Plane. So we've done a lot of Patreon stuff on
Oh
it.
wow.
But maybe I don't know. I like law abiding
Gods of
citizen.
Egypt. Gods of
maybe
Egypt.
Oh, yeah.
we're gonna have to look back and
Okay,
make sure
okay.
we haven't already done that.
That's
but
gonna be
that
mine.
movie is so dumb. It's hilarious.
Okay.
But anyway, if you want to email the podcast, we're at nosuchthingasabadmovie@gmail.com. We're on Twitter and Bluesky and Instagram at nosuchthingpod. And we're on Patreon at patreon.com/nosuchthingasabadmovie. If you subscribe to us at the $5 level, you'll get a bonus episode every 2 weeks, as well as access to over 100 and something previous episodes. So we talked about Soderbergh this week. So next episode, hear us talk about Mr. Steven Soderbergh, specifically Black Bag and Presence. And if you want to find me, I am on Bluesky and Instagram at April Atmansky.
You can find me on Bluesky, Justin DeClue, DCLOUX, and anywhere where podcasts can be found. I do one called the Very Fine Comic Book Podcast. We talk about comic books, and now we're doing video games too. So check out, listen up, and dial in.
You doing video games on your comic book podcast?
Yeah, we're switching it up a little bit. The Very Fine
Video game?
Comic Book and Video Game Podcast.
Okay.
You can find me on Bluesky, Instagram, all that stuff. Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA.
And that's it for us. Thanks for joining us. And please eat ash responsibly.
Yeah, with protection.
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's it. Thanks for joining us. Also,
That's it.
happy Easter.
It was a hard recording. Please, we just want to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot
Technical
of technical
difficulties.
issues.
We had some technical difficulties, but we
Colin
made it through
couldn't
it.
couldn't stop eating ash.
I have my mouth full of ash.
We made it through, folks. Thanks for joining us. I'm April Atmansky.
I'm Justin Glow.
And I'm...
And remember, there's no such thing as a bad movie.